Yes. Good old Tennessee. Tennessee, Tennessee, Tennessee. I felt like since I live in Tennessee, it'd only be fitting that I do a review of Tennessee. The good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. We are going to start off with the lovely place I call Nashville, Tennessee. Now, if you've never been to Nashville, now to be honest with you, Nashville, it's a decent city. It's thriving, it's big, it's really pretty to look at, but it does hide its cons. One of the biggest ones, and this is going to be a prevalent theme throughout, is the freaking traffic. The traffic in Tennessee is unmatched, to be honest with you. I think I saw somewhere where Nashville has reached like an average of like 40-minute commute time. Next up about Nashville is, of course, another thing about Nashville is you got the sucky Tennessee Titans, and yes, I purposely pronounced the Titans name wrong. Not a great football team, I'm going to be honest with you. If you come to Tennessee hoping for a good sports, you got the Preds, they're decent, but they always make it to the playoffs and fall short. You got the Vols, they always fall short, especially in football. And then you got the Tennessee Titans that just can't produce any Super Bowls. And that is one of those things where it's like you come at your own risk if you're a sports fan. Next up, we got Chattanooga, or as I like to call it, Chattashita, or Chattahoochee. Now, guys, I've briefly been in Chattanooga. I've been through there a lot. Um, and to be honest with you, it is, in my opinion, it's kind of a shithole. Um, Now it can't, be any worse than Memphis. We'll get to Memphis next. But, Chattanooga, its biggest issues stem from the traffic, the stupid traffic lights that they have. Uh, Probably one of the worst traffic lights to sit behind. They do this thing where one traffic light ahead turns green, the other one behind it turns red. So it's a constant jam pack. And Chattanooga isn't even that populated, but it's jam packed all the time for no reason. The roads, pothole city. If you want to, have your car sink down 10 feet, go to Chattanooga. They got potholes everywhere, roads that need to be fixed. They got ongoing construction to do the craziest, road renovations I've ever seen. And to be honest with you, their road network system is not even that good. Their road network system is confusing, and to be quite honest with you, it's just not good. Um, where Chattanooga thrives though, and where Tennessee really thrives is the outdoors. You got places like Gatlinburg, loads of hiking trails. In fact, I'm pretty sure Tennessee ranks among the top 10 for just hiking trails alone. And on top of that, it's just a beautiful place to be in the fall, in the wintertime. Uh, it's a beautiful state. It's a beautiful state. I'll give Tennessee props for that. The weather could be a little better. I mean, if you want a wider range of weather, it snows one day and then, tornado touches down and tears apart your town the next, then hey, Tennessee is for you. You also got, the problem with the temperature where it'll be 90 degrees one day and 20 degrees the next. So, have no idea where all that weather is coming from and why Tennessee is the most affected. It just is. But I will give props to Tennessee where it is. Tennessee is a resilient state, especially Nashville. They've been hit by three tornadoes, big ones. They've been bombed. They've had shootings. They've been flooded. And Nashville still is strong. Nashville is a resilient piece of Tennessee that I would like to point out. Now, I personally have never visited Dollywood or any of these other smaller entertainment centers. The closest I've gotten to Dollywood is just actually being in Gatlinburg. Great area, by the way, one of the highlights of Tennessee. Um, and so that's that. Education system in Tennessee. Education's pretty good too. I do feel like it's falling apart over and this is all schools in general, but just the education system's kind of going downhill. But when I was in school, the education system was great. I felt like I learned a lot. I felt like my grades reflected what I learned. And to be honest with you, it was a good time. It was a good time. I can't say the same for college. Every college is going to be different. You got the UT system. You got all your little smaller colleges like Lipscomb and UT Martin and all that. But overall, the education system in Tennessee is one of the best. What about housing? Uh, Housing is pretty good. Now, if you want to live anywhere in Middle Tennessee, and I'm not just talking about Nashville or Williamson County, you're going to be you're going to need to sell an arm and a leg just to live here. Um, I know houses here that were built in the 90s and 80s that are worth over $1 million now. And I mean, these are like the bare bone types of houses. And if you get higher up to, these other houses that are being constructed, which are insane, by the way, you're looking at over $2 million plus. Rent's crazy through the roof. Grocery prices are fair. Gas prices, can't really control that. But it's expensive to live in Tennessee. Your best shot at living and thriving in Tennessee is going out west towards, Huntington and all those places, where you could buy land and a house for like ten, $20,000. Now, granted, these aren't big houses, but you get the point. Tennessee, the city areas, especially Chattanooga and Nashville. I don't know about Memphis, but I'd have to guess Memphis is this way too, are riddled with homeless people. Now, guys, I have nothing against homeless people. I feel terrible for their situations. I think I think Tennessee has done a lot to improve it. I've personally visited homeless shelters and things, so I know that there's help out there, but it's still not cool to see a homeless person roam around, breaking into college dormitories, standing, blocks and blocks of homeless people. It's just not a good look for the city and or cities, as I mentioned. And honestly, just it just lowers the value of these cities because they're just sitting there, And again, not trying to dehumanize homeless people. I sympathize with them. It's tough, um, but it certainly is not great to come to Nashville or Chattahoochee and basically have the homeless population walking around like a bunch of zombies. I've actually heard some stories of they defecate in places. They'll camp out in elevators. They'll rob people, and even worse. I've heard of some murders that have happened. Like I said, not demonizing homeless people. They're humans too, but Tennessee has a huge homeless problem, and they just need to get it under control. Crime, crime in Tennessee. Uh, you're going to have your fair share of, basic property crime, vehicle break-ins. I've actually seen a girl have her own car taken in front of me. Um, you know, Crazy, crazy nonsense that goes on. Which brings me to the city of Memphis, or as my best friend calls it, Memphis. Uh, by far a stain, you know, on the map of Tennessee. And this isn't talking about every Memphis person that lives there, but it's a pretty crappy place to be. It's basically homicide central. You got a shooting every like 10 seconds. And on top of that, you're looking to get your vehicle stolen if you park it in any neighborhood for longer than 10 minutes. So, again, it's a crime problem. It's a city problem. Nashville is actually starting to become that way, believe it or not. And we just don't have enough police officers to take care of it. So don't personally, I would never visit Memphis, never have, probably never will. If I do pass by Memphis, I'm sure it's got beautiful areas and beautiful things. It's got that barbecue and all of that good stuff, and fried chicken. Fried chicken is very popular in Tennessee. That's another thing. Your chicken, Nashville hot chicken, and Prince's hot chicken, and the list goes on and on of chicken places that are in Tennessee. So no shortage of chicken if you love fried chicken. But just be careful. Just be careful going to Memphis. Overall, Tennessee not a horrible place. Another, con of Tennessee is the shitty drivers. Guys, I can't tell you how many times I end up road raging throughout the day. Tennessee drivers are some of the worst drivers on planet Earth. I mean, some of the dumbest things that you will see on the freaking road in your lifetime that'll give you a freaking stroke and leave you dead right there, just based off the just not smart driving. And guys, I don't mean to diss your other states, but the New York people, the Californians, they're all coming down here and they just aren't used to this Tennessee traffic, uh, the road system. Uh, and New York and Californian drivers are pretty crazy to begin with. So, a lot of terrible driving if you come down to Tennessee. Um, that's alongside the freaking traffic, and then if you're in Chattanooga, you got the damn infrastructure is just falling apart. Which I get it. That's the charm of Chattanooga. It's been preserved, if that makes sense, with its history and architecture. But there comes a point when you gotta put away the history and actually freaking build your damn roads, and they're trying to, but they have not touched any of the inner city areas. I think there's one road that they're working on in the city, and it's like one entire block, and it's a one-way street. Like, come on now, Chattanooga, come on. I'm gonna be very critical of Chattanooga because I'm kind of in and out of that place pretty frequently. So overall, Tennessee, I give it a C plus. It's not the greatest state. I definitely don't think that it is the greatest state. I'm just keeping it real with everybody. I don't think it's a horrible place, but I don't think, it's the greatest place on earth. Now, what's keeping it from being a B, or a B minus? Well, to put it quite simply, there's just things they got to tweak on. Um, Tennessee's too big of a growing state for it to have the issues it has. Um, in my hometown alone, they didn't even account for all the people that were coming in. And so you just have this one way road going through the whole place where I live and a bunch of smaller roads connecting it. And you got over like 20,000 people living there. That's just not, that's just terrible planning. They're building houses left and right, like grass springing up in a field. It's a crazy sight to behold. Tennessee is a crazy sight to behold right now. Um, Now, in 5, 6 years, once Tennessee gets its, bulk of the building and infrastructure done, maybe even a decade ahead from now, I think Tennessee will be a really, really great state to live in. But right now, it's just an average state. It's a C plus state, in my opinion. It has it has its pros. It has a lot of good pros. Nashville knows how to do entertainment. You got the Gatlinburg, Smoky Mountains, Dollywood area. West Tennessee, knows how to preserve its, country feel, and they're very prideful about things like horses and farmland and very rural area of Tennessee. And I like that. I think that's great. But, the cons, you just can't ignore them, especially in the big cities where all these people are seem to want to move to now. Don't know why. I would never move to Nashville in my life. You can never pay me to live in Nashville. You could also never pay me to live in Chattanooga. So anyway, without further ado, that's really it. So Tennessee, C plus. Let me know what you guys think. Like, subscribe, and I will come with you with another video soon.